And Fox 10 News is following more breaking news out of Baldwin County. Sheriff's Office investigators are at a home on Russet Court in Foley. We're told it's all connected with those human remains found near Magnolia Springs over the past few days.
Our live team coverage continues at this hour. Reporters Will Robinson-Smith and Katie Weiss both on the scenes with the scene, I should say, with the new developments. Will, let's start with you. Have investigators released the victim's name yet?
Hey there, Bob and Lanice. No, the victim's name has not been released. The last time we spoke with Sheriff Huey Hosmack was about 2 hours ago at 3:30, and we talked about the latest developments in this case. Now, just to bring you up to speed on what we learned this morning, we met with the sheriff's officers, the sheriff at the Robertsdale Investigation Command office, and that's where he told us that last night that divers found the rest of the body parts that were not recovered earlier, like we reported yesterday night. Divers found those under the bridge by Nolte Creek, that's on County Road 26, just about a mile or so from where that torso was found yesterday, also on County Road 26. We're told that the victim, we know a little bit more about the victim. He's about 150 pounds. He stands about 6 foot 1 inches tall. He has a pacemaker, a mole on his right temple, and I'm going to step out of frame. It's kind of dark, but if you can see straight down this road right here, that house kind of in between the cars and that big tree on the left, that is where the sheriff's office is executing a search warrant at this moment in time. They've been here since early this morning. Since a little bit after we left Robertsdale, we were told that they're investigating this house right here in the surrounding area. And according to Sheriff Huey Hosmack, that house is owned and was lived in by the victim. And here's what the sheriff had to say about where this investigation is going from here.
And we have investigators that are actually going to some different areas right now, just building up some evidentiary items, talking to some people, doing some interviews. Our crime scene people are here. I anticipate that we'll be at this residence till sometime tomorrow. We'll be spending a lot of time just a meticulous search of this area and this premises to see if there is any evidence.
You know, back over in the Magnolia Springs area, about 4 miles from where we were, Nolte Creek, that's, like I said, where the body parts that were not the torso were found by divers last night. And I spoke to some residents who lived in the area about, you know, what they thought about this experience, because really for them, nothing like this has ever happened before, and it was very jarring. Take a listen. It was supposed to be just another guy's weekend for the Goodwin family. 3 generations of fishermen making their way along the creek to catch some speckled trout. They had no idea that they were fishing near a crime scene.
What a day to come fishing with your son and grandson and wind up in a crime scene. Very unusual and very unnerving.
In the water by the bridge is where sheriff's deputies say volunteer divers made the gruesome discovery of most of the limbs and head of the still nameless victim.
The most important aspect of this investigation at this time is the identity of this victim. Once we have the identity, then that's going to take the investigation in a different direction.
Bill Goodwin Jr. and his 8-year-old son Jack had no idea that a quiet day of fishing would take such a surprising turn.
We didn't think anything about it until we were coming out of and there was a lady here with a canine unit, and then someone was like, hey, you're going to have to go back west. They've got the road blocked down there. They found more of this guy's body.
I mean, I've never heard anything like that before, but it's just a little bit scary for me.
Leroy Weeks grew up in Magnolia Springs. Weeks Creek and Weeks Bay were named after his family. He also said that he's never seen anything like this before and hopes to never see it again.
It shakes you up real bad because I live right here, you know, and to have something like that happen, it's never happened in 80 years that I've been in this area. And it kind of puts you on edge.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of unrest over in the Magnolia Springs area, and as you can see and as we've shown you, still a very fluid and active investigation here. We're going to continue our team coverage with Katie Weiss. Now, Katie, you've been speaking to neighbors in this community. What's been the reaction to all this? I'm sure it's been very jarring and rattling for them as well.
Yes, most definitely. As you mentioned, you can see it is very much an active scene, and officers so far are not really giving us a whole lot of information about new updates on what's going on or what particularly happened in this house here in this neighborhood. And that lack of information is really concerning some neighbors who live here in Russet Court. I'm going to just show you a little bit briefly here, have my photographer Andy Vo show you a little bit more about what's going on right now. Officers investigating here at Russet Court. Folks tell me that it's apparently a very quiet neighborhood, and they are just worried to see such a massive investigation here in Russet Court. Now, law enforcement officers expect to be here all night and into the morning at least to serve a search warrant on this house. One neighbor tells me she's glad law enforcement is here, but she's worried to think about what could have happened to her neighbor.
I didn't know how serious it was, or actually what was really going on, and I just wanted to make sure that it was safe for me and my family to still be here, being so close to the situation.
Going to continue to keep you updated and let you know what happens, what they find here on this active scene. Reporting live in Foley, I'm Katie Weiss for Fox 10 News.